Hi, my name is Jonathan Nato. I'd like to thank everyone that's pledged and spread the word about this Indiegogo campaign for Sonar. And if you want to visit the website, it's indiegogo.com/sonar. And again, thanks to everyone that's contributed and make this possible. It's exciting and encouraging all at the same time to see the pledges come through and the comments that everyone's making. So you might be asking yourself, why is this important? Why is it important to make a completely accessible operating system? Why does it have to be based on Linux? Before we get too deep into that question though, I'd like to tell you about the situation of assistive technology and accessible software in the United States. Now, it's true there is accessible software and assistive technology that already does exist, but there's two problems. It's proprietary software and it's extremely expensive. Now, for a blind or low vision person to get a screen reader that works on Windows, the price can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per license. Now, that's extremely expensive because up to 80% of blind and low vision people in the United States are unemployed. So that means that buying this software is out of their reach. You would assume that the companies that make this proprietary software would have done some market research before they got to this price. They would have realized that their market, up to 80% of their market, was unemployed, and paying this price would be next to impossible. But there are places and foundations that pay this license fee and then give the software to the blind and low vision users. That is why this company can charge such a high price. They're not depending on the market paying for the software. They're depending on other entities coming in and paying the price of the licensing fee. If this were to happen in another type of market, like say computers or cell phones and other gadgets and technology, what were to happen if this hardware was priced so high that a large majority of the people couldn't afford it? Technology wouldn't advance, innovations wouldn't be made. In the last 10 years, we've seen such an explosion of technology and hardware. None of that would have been possible if things were priced way out of range for everyone to afford. What kind of untapped market are we dealing with here if there's a lot of people that can't even access their computer technology due to proprietary high-cost software just to access their computer to begin with? So that's the problem with assistive technology and accessible software in the United States right now. It's set up so that it can't fail. It's set up so there seems to be no need for something else to come in to provide assistive technology, because this market's being propped up and it's not able to fail like it properly would if it were left up to the 80% unemployed people to purchase this proprietary software. So that's why Sonar is going to exist, and why I'm trying to create Sonar, is to bring accessible technology to people throughout the world that can't afford extremely proprietary, high-costing proprietary software. That's why I want to build it on free software and on GNU Linux. Now, we'll get into why it's important for assistive technology to be based on free software. But again, so this is the reason why Sonar is going to exist and why I'm doing the campaign, is to put this together to bridge the gap between accessibility and technology. So why build Sonar and free software? Why should accessible software be free software? The answer to that question is easy. It's because of the 4 freedoms that come with free software. Now we could take a look at these 4 freedoms and you'll understand why it's important to me and why I think all accessible software should be free software. So we can look at Freedom 0. Freedom 0 means you can run the software however you wish, whenever you like, however you like, at any time. What's great about Freedom 0 is, I'll take one example, that there's a piece of software called Compiz, which is used for desktop effects and making your Windows and your desktop do cool little things, and it's basically eye candy. But someone made a plugin for Compiz to have a zoom functionality. Now, it's cool to be able to zoom in onto your desktop on a document, say if you can't see a particular part, if you want to zoom in on a picture, photograph, or whatever. That's fine, and it's great that you can do that. But people with low vision utilize this magnification software so that they can access their computer and they can read documentation and surf the web through this magnification software. When it was created and developed, that intention wasn't in mind when it was made. But low vision people can utilize it for accessibility needs. Then you have Freedom 1. Freedom 1 is the freedom to read and modify source code. So the source code that's developed that makes the programs that you and I use for accessible needs, we are free to read the source code. Now, whether or not you can understand the source code and reading it might be a whole nother story, but we do have that freedom to read the source code. You could pay someone to read the source code and explain it to you. With being able to read the source code, you can also teach yourself to learn how to program. You could learn how Python works. You could learn how Ruby works. You could learn how Perl works. And you could start to see how the programs that you depend on for your accessibility needs, you can see how those things work and function, and you can start to try and modify it to make it stop doing things it's doing, or make it do things it hasn't done yet. So that's another great thing about Freedom 1 is it'll give the opportunity for people to teach themselves to learn how to program by viewing the source code of the software they're using. They can have a completely understand how screen readers work, completely understand how eye tracking software works, and then modify it and make it better and enhance the software that they themselves are depending on. Now, even if they can't program themselves or teach themselves to learn how to program, they'll have opportunities to pay third-party developers to help customize the software they're using. And then if they pay that developer, everyone in the community will benefit from the changes that are made. So that's another great thing about freedom number 1. Freedom number 2 is the right to distribute the source code and the freedom to distribute source code. So what's great about this, and that's why Sonar is great, is when Sonar is completely finished and polished, I could make 1 million copies and stand on a street corner and hand them out. Or if there's a blind individual that has another blind friend that can't access their computer due to proprietary, highly priced software, this friend could make a copy of Sonar, burn on a disk, or put on a